We are just over the halfway mark in this championship season and in the middle of a January transfer window currently. So I'll be looking at the promotion race in this championship season. Things are really hotting up there. A high standard set at the top who will be getting into those playoff positions as well. Here are all my thoughts and what I think will transpire over the coming months. Straight from the bat, it is very, very obvious to me, and it is quite a straightforward conclusion that Leicester will probably win the league this season. Enzo Maresca has built a fantastic style of football that's very easy on the eye and it suits these group of players very well. And on top of the quality that they have, it is just very easy to see Leicester not dropping off. They are currently 7 points ahead of Ipswich in second. They're not going to drop off. And despite the fact that they do have a couple of players going off to AFCON, I don't think there'll be a massive regression either. If the Foxes keep up their current points per game record, they are due for 110 points this season, which is just an absolutely mammoth total and would be an Herculean effort from Enzo Maresca's men. You could argue all about financial fair play and the parachute payments that Leicester City are in receipt of, but you still can't take away from the fact that Enzo Maresca's had to build a squad that was low on confidence, had to sell quite a lot of their star players over the summer as well, and has built a very, very strong foundation and one of the best foundations we've actually seen in the Championship of all time. I'd say three teams are probably at the moment in the top two race, and those three teams are Ipswich, Southampton, and Leeds. Ipswich currently occupies second place in 58 points. Southampton are only 3 behind on 55 points. Leeds, though, a little bit further behind, 51 points, 7 points behind Ipswich in second. Ipswich currently occupies second place in the Championship and are currently still in the front seat for second place. However long that's going to last for, I don't know. They have had a little bit of a dip in form, but the context has got to be given. They are a League One side. They've just been promoted to the Championship as their first season, and they're competing against three sides, if you include Leicester, who are in receipt of year one parachute payments. It is very, very, very difficult, and it is going to be very difficult for them to compete for the next 2019 games, I think. It is going to be very difficult for Ipswich. However, they have given themselves a good platform and certainly within the race for the top two. They are projecting a man with 98.98 points. And I know we are all saying it's a high tide at the top, but if they don't go up 98.8 points, yeah, something's gone horribly wrong in the Championship calculations of second place. I think it's pretty clear for Ipswich. It's just about staying in the top four, I'd imagine. It's not going to be definitely stay in the top two because that is a massive ask for Kieran McKenna and this current squad at the moment. And it's the financials compared to Southampton and Leeds directly below them. It's going to be hard for Ipswich to recruit as heavily as I'd think. But they have given themselves a very good platform, and if they do build upon this and they do keep up a good points per game record for the rest of the season, I can't see why they wouldn't be in with a close shout for the top two as well. The reason I'm not so convinced about Ipswich staying in second place is not because of Ipswich themselves, it's mainly down to Southampton directly below them. Southampton have set an amazing standard over the past 20 games where they have gone unbeaten under Russell Martin. At the moment, they're projecting 93.7 points and have a points per game record of 2.03. They're creating chances in Ross Martin's style of play, which we know all about. Possession, very slow, very tempered, but once it clicks, it is very hard to stop, and the patterns of play are just so good when it does click. Southampton just need to make sure once they inevitably lose a game, it's all about making sure they don't go and lose another couple and then give themselves even more work to do than they have to do currently. It's very frustrating for them, I'm sure, because the normal season, 2.03 points per game, would probably have you in the top two at this point and quite comfortably as well. But at the moment, with a standard set by themselves and Ipswich and Leeds, it is not the case. Southampton are in receipt of parachute payments, so it'll be very interesting to see how they go about this January transfer window. I'm sure they are in a very good position financially with the player sales they had in the summer, so I'm sure a number of players will be coming in to bolster that Southampton squad even more and to help Russell Martin out. Leeds are probably the most inconsistent out of the three I'm talking about in Ipswich, Southampton and Leeds. They are projected at the moment for 86.89 points, which will not be enough, probably even a normal championship season, to get you into the top two. So they need to make sure they ramp that up. And an easy fix is to fix that away form. They've had a few very disappointing results on the road. Stoke away, where they lost 1-0. Rotherham away, where they drew 1-1. They lost at West Brom. Somehow they beat Ipswich and Leicester away from home, but then lost at Sunderland. Then they lost at Southampton. They need to make sure they get that away form fixed. And if they do that and continue that momentous record at Ellen Road, where they're unbeaten so far in the league, the gap will close from the 7 points it is at the moment on match week 27. But they just need to make sure they get that away form sorted out very quickly. Similar to Southampton, Leeds are in receipt of parachute payments, and I'd say are probably the side at the moment. Maybe you could argue with Ipswich, probably in most need of a few recruits in a couple of positions. They've let go of Luke Ayling, so they probably need a couple of left fullbacks. Chad Spencer's gone out as well, so they need a couple of fullbacks. I've been seeing links with Ben Johnson from West Ham, Josh Doig from Italy. Their firepower up top is literally like nothing else I've ever seen. Somerville, Rutter, Pirro, Bamford, Daniel James. It is brilliant up top. It is perfect, but at the back, it is a little bit shaky. And with the system Daniel Farke plays, it is full out energy, and fullbacks do get up. The fullbacks, as I said, are going to be very crucial. So that position needs to be fixed, and Daniel Farke needs to have his players hitting the ground running. So at the moment, I would make Southampton favourites with the momentum that they do have at the moment and the 20-game unbeaten run they are currently in the middle of. Leeds, I would also somewhat throw in the mix, but I would say are a little bit more outsiders, and the inconsistencies on the road are probably going to be their downfall. Ipswich are going to find it very difficult to keep pace with both Southampton and Leeds, especially with Leeds' home form, but they've put themselves in a fantastic position. Definitely be in the top 4 by the end of the season. So at the moment, I'd put Leicester top, and probably Southampton second, and maybe Ipswich and Leeds, but that could be easily the other way around in third and fourth. The playoff race is very, very interesting. I'd say from 6th all the way down to maybe 14th. Maybe that might be a little bit ambitious if you see who is in 14th at the moment. I'd say are probably in with a shout for the top 6 and that 6th position. I only say 6th position because I do think West Brom are definitely settled in and will not drop off that much to get themselves out of the top 6 and will definitely probably be in the top 6. They have a 5-point gap to Sunderland in 7th at the moment, so I'd definitely put West Brom in there. Coventry are the ones who currently occupy 6th place and that final playoff position. Coventry and Sunderland are both tied on 40 points at the moment and occupy 6th and 7th respectively. They are both projected for 68.15 points at the end of the season, so about 68 points if you round that down. And I'd say probably the favourites at the moment from what I've been seeing recently for the top 6. Just below them is Watford and Hull. Watford have just beaten QPR away from home. Watford, though, a little bit inconsistent, and before that little bit with an inconsistency period, they were actually really good and only lost to, I think, about 15 games. So they can go on runs, and they can definitely, make the top 6. And those sorts of runs, as I said, to win, I think, 2 defeats in 15, those are sorts of runs that normally get teams into those final playoff positions. Below them is Hull, and I really like Hull because I really like Liam Rosenior and the style of football he's trying to implement. And I really like some of the players there, and their attacking players are really, really good. Maybe one of them's coming to Bristol City soon. I don't know, maybe Scott Wines. If he wants to come, that'll be nice. But yeah, I do like the players there at Hull, and I do like Liam Rosenior, but they probably are a little bit too inconsistent as well. Maybe they need a little bit more experience in certain areas to bolster their ambitions for the top 6. Directly below Hull are Middlesbrough, who sit in 10th place at the moment. They are on 39 points and just 1 point below Coventry, who currently occupy 6th. And I'd say Middlesbrough probably the only side below Coventry up to Middlesbrough. It's probably they're the sides I'd be looking at going, you have a realistic shot of getting into the top 6. Sides below them, as much as they've got a somewhat close points difference with the top 6, I don't think have a really real shout of getting into the top 6 and breaking into that one. I think the points and I don't think the gap and the quality disparity is just too much at the moment. Middlesbrough, they've started the January transfer window as well. They've signed Finn Azaz, who was on loan at Plymouth, who I really liked. We should have probably signed. Luke Ayling's coming on loan from Leeds. So I do like the business so far. They do need a couple more positions, I'd say. But at the moment, I'd say Middlesbrough probably up there in terms of challenging, and possibly it's between them, Coventry, Sunderland, maybe even Hull to get into those top 6 positions at the moment. If you were to pressure me for an answer of who would get into 6th at the moment, I'd probably hedge my bets on Mark Robins and Coventry just about sneaking in there. Their signings are just hitting form at the right time and gelling. Milan Van Evik. They've signed Victor Torp recently, haven't they? Adji Wright is hitting some form. Ellis Sims is hitting some form as well. They're looking good. And with the quality they've signed in the summer and they've already added to in January, I do expect Coventry to be very, very realistic shouts. And I can only see them getting better as well. And they've laid some pretty steep and some bold marking points as well, beating Leicester in the M69 derby, some really impressive wins, some tight wins, but some really good wins. So at the moment, I'd probably stick in the current top 6 and put Coventry in 6th at the moment. So that is it for the promotion race. Who do you think is going to get into those top 6 positions? Let me know down below. I honestly think it will probably be the same top 6 at the moment with Coventry and West Brom in it, but the top bit will probably be switched around maybe a couple of places. I think Southampton are probably going to sneak into 2nd place ahead of Ipswich, who are occupying it at the moment. Let me know your thoughts on the top 6 race at the moment, and let me know who you think you're going to get in that and who is going to go up to the Premier League. Thank you very much for watching. Keep safe, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.